Why did you guys fuck with my glasses?
We are really, really, really ugly as short bobbed redheaded people. I know that.
Oh,
Locke.
dude, did you see that? Welcome to the program. My name is Dean. That is our St. Patrick's Day intro. If you missed it, it's like a jib jab gif or GIF or whatever the fuck they call it, where it's like a meme,
dancing
gify
thing.
dancing is like a bunch of our faces. And it's funny because I didn't see that, and our socials guys put that out today, and it came out, and I'm like, why the fuck do they keep using the same ridiculous picture of me? And then I emailed the guy, and he's like, because we have one, dude. We have one. That's all we have. But anyway, welcome to St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Lachlan's in green. He's in Edmonton. We've got Army Chris is back for the podcast from the Fire for Effect podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Army Chris, 25-year combat veteran for the Canadian Army. Thank you, Chris, for being here. He's down in Mexico. We're going to get to how and why in just a second. And over to Nicaragua. So we got Edmonton, Toronto. We've got Mexico, and we got Nicaragua. Bonzi is still in Nicaragua at Bonzi Live is where you can find him at The Army Chris on Twitter, at Lachlan Cross. And, of course, I don't care if you follow me at all, so it doesn't matter. You're here.
Hey, listen, I would like to start with something, okay?
Yeah,
I
please.
am going to show you the shirt that I have on underneath of this.
Okay.
Before I show you the shirt that I have on underneath of this,
Mm-hmm.
I am well aware of how offensive this shirt is. Okay. I also would like everybody to know that I find it tremendously funny, the shirt that I have on.
All right.
And this has been a big thing for me, the lead up to this. I've been thinking about it for like 2 weeks. I washed it 2 weeks ago. It's been sitting beside my desk here where I do the podcast for like 2 weeks since I dried it. And it was all for this show. And the reason why it's a big deal is because at one point I was asked to never wear this shirt to my other place of employment.
The fucking buildup is off the chain.
So,
Okay,
this
so the
is
shirt
the
we're
only,
about to
this
see.
is
Hang
for
on,
the
hang on,
last
hang on.
bastion of, like, this is the last spot I'll ever be able to wear this shirt, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
Okay, let's see it. Drunk lives matter.
What's wrong with that, man? You can't wear that to work? I love
they
it.
told me never to wear it to work again.
It's my life.
There was a couple of complaints. They sent me home.
Are you number one shit on the number one shit list there at work, Locke?
Jesus Christ.
If there is something to be upset about or complain about, generally it's usually me. I think my picture's on the back of a couple of doors that says, if anything goes wrong, blame this guy.
Yeah. Do you know why they don't like that shirt, though?
I've always worn that hat.
Yeah, but do you know why they don't like that shirt? Drunk lives matter. Like, does it? You do know why, right?
I'm well aware of. That's why I realize how. Listen, I know how offensive it is.
How much do you want? Listen, how much do you want for that shirt, man?
I am not unwilling to listen. I'm not unwilling to accept how offensive it is.
Yeah, I know.
But sometimes offensive shit's really, really funny. And this makes me laugh. So I bought the shirt.
I can't stop.
And I wore it once, and they told me never to wear it again to work. So I had to put it away.
Yeah.
So now this is like the last. I knew this work environment would be fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, you're totally cool here. You're allowed to wear that shirt. That shirt was actually meant for podcasts like this, where no one could tell you not to wear it, right? But it is wildly offensively funny.
It's offensive on a number of levels. I don't even know how to start on how offensive it is.
Are you
Send me the link.
Are you gonna wear? Are you gonna wear that? Because you're going out, right? Like, your St. Patrick's Day hasn't started yet. You're in Edmonton. It's a couple hours.
My wife
but it's
and I
midday.
might go out and have a drink. And
come on, don't do that.
Think I'll
don't
wear that
you
with
fucking
this.
do that. You know exactly what you're doing today. I know what you're doing. You're fucking lying to me. How many times have you been drunk, Army Chris? How many times have you been drunk with Locke? And what does he do on St. Patrick's Day every single year? You said this to me last year. You're like, oh, the wife and I might go for a Guinness. And the next day, I got a picture of you on the toilet going like this. I was out till 4. Had to work at 4:30.
Absolutely.
Feel good. right?
I know exactly which pub he's going to go to. It's
Where's
right
he
down.
going?
It's right down the hill from his house to the right.
Yeah.
I know exactly where he's going.
With my
And-
wife, with my
and
lovely wife. for a
Okay,
drink.
yeah. You know, no, dude, you're taking your wife so that you can play this whole thing out like you're just going out with your wife. You're too mature for St. Patrick's Day. But we know what's going to happen. You're going to go somewhere where Jimmy's running around like a leprechaun and he's in his outfit, and you're going to get fucking 5 bell wasted. We all know that.
Peter the leprechaun.
Peter the leprechaun.
Oh,
He's
where's
so
your
upset with you
shillelagh?
about that.
And then
fucking
Lachlan can tell his lovely wife, we did something together.
That's
We
right.
went on a date.
That's right.
I love how you call St.
Your
Patty's Day a
negativity,
date.
all three of you, your negativity towards the relationship that I have with my beautiful wife,
Here we go.
and the years I've spent in nourishing that relationship is disgusting to me.
Sorry, dude.
And
Dude, you didn't even tell her you were sleeping at the radio station on New Year's Eve until we were rolling out the door.
I
and
knew it
she
was a bad
upset
idea to
with you.
invite
Yeah,
you
she
to
was.
my house.
I don't think Locke's wife does not like me, man. She does not like me at all.
Actually, we were talking about you because we were curling on the weekend. And,
Perfect.
Army Chris came out to curl, like not curl, but to drink and watch us curl.
Yeah.
And sat in the stands behind us at the curling rink and decided that he was a better curler than all of us on the ice and
This is a
started
true
giving
story.
my wife tips on how to skip. And so my wife let it go for about 3 minutes,
Not even that.
turned around and said, I'm going to need
Shut
you to
the
shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. So you know what I did? I fucking left. I
He
went
went,
home.
I'm going to go
Did you leave?
to the
Were you-
other
I went
bar.
home, man. I
She
left. I'm like,
bitched
oh
you
my
out and
God.
embarrassed you, and
You
you
turn
left,
around.
didn't you?
This is like in the whole fucking all the sheep people. And Deb turns around and goes, "Would you shut the fuck up?" I went, "Yes, I will." And I took my beer and I fucked off.
We were all
scared of-
cheering.
You scared
Everyone
of
was
it?
just like,
You know, the only good news is a week later we were in full COVID lockdown. I'm like, this is great for me because now I have
That's
a reason
right.
to not run into Deb.
Yeah.
1 week later, we were in full fucking lockdown. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
thank
we were.
God.
That's that
Thank
was
God
that
there's a
weekend before.
pandemic.
It was the weekend before we ended up in the COVID. Yeah.
Yeah,
You scared of his wife, Chris? You scared of Locke's wife?
That was very
I've
good
never been-
timing.
What's that?
It was good timing. Very good timing.
Okay,
Deb,
well, I didn't understand what you
Deb
said.
is awesome. Lachlan needs Deb in his life.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
She's I wouldn't
I
say
promise you that.
my
Like,
wife's
he would be living at the dump like
We're still down by the river in a van.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
There is a lot to be said about that. And he's probably not wrong. But my wife is not a scary individual.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
It's
she's a
just
gem.
she doesn't put up with my stupid friends, right? And you know what?
And you have a lot of them, right? Like you got a lot of stupid friends. Yeah.
Army
She's
Chris
mad
is
because every time I show up, I have a beer.
Well, you get out of the truck with a beer in your hand. She's like, what is this? He's trying to move a couch with me, and he's got one arm on the couch and the other side of the couch on his shoulder, and he's holding a beer. Like he won't even put his fucking beer down to move a couch downstairs for me.
Fuck. You're celebrating St. Patty's Day in Mexico, Chris. Where are you? It's fucking beautiful there. You can see some heavy equipment rolling in behind you. There's some nice houses, but that's not a green screen. You're in Mexico for real, right?
Correct. We were in Sayulita, Mexico, which is this bohemian surfer hippie mecca for dope smokers and people who just don't give a fuck. And everybody here is happy, which is rare to me. Even Dave's happy right now, which is rare. And it's 40 minutes north of Puerto Vallarta, and we're this is the retirement plan. Dave's my heterosexual soulmate. Yes, we're gonna have opposing master bedrooms because everybody always thinks like that we're gay. We're not. We just do shit together because we spend a lot of time together.
Dude, you vacation with the man all the time. You just bought some property with the man. It doesn't mean you're gay.
No,
you don't have to
And
make
there's
that
nothing
statement.
wrong with that.
No. No, you
Yeah,
guys
it's
could
a-
totally like, but it,
Cool vibe. This place is awesome.
yeah.
If you were gay,
My
I'm
internet.
pretty sure Dave's the top, though.
Well, it's funny because Dave is like sitting right behind this,
Yeah.
and he can hear everything.
Fuck
And
off.
and
No.
when he came around, like I'm like,
Dave.
look at these guys yelling at each
He
other.
doesn't
right
want to
now.
be big
They are
spoon,
like a
man.
married
He's out.
couple.
Hey, I'm gone.
No, he
He
is
just
a big
tapped
spoon. But the funny part was like when I got on the podcast prior to start, I was like, "Hey, Chris, how you doing?" He goes, "Good. I'm in Mexico with Dave, who has the world's smallest nipples. Look at his nipples." And I'm like,
Fucking
"What?
smallest
His
now.
nipples?" And then he's like, "The only other smaller nipples I saw were on this guy in the bar yesterday who walked in with smaller nipples than Dave's nipples. I couldn't even look at the chick with the big guns. It was with the guy
Can you
with
put
the
your
small
nipples
nipples."
on the screen?
No.
Come on.
Let's
man.
see.
Come
Let's show people
Dave,
some.
come
Yeah, let me
on,
see Dave's
Dave.
nipples.
Let's
Come on,
see
Dave.
Let's see your nipples for
They're
fuck's
not
sake.
Let's see
small.
your itty bitty fucking nips.
Look
Yeah.
at those.
He does have
They
small
are,
nipples.
They are little nips.
Stop it.
Dave, have you been working out? He looks a little trimmer than normal.
Yeah,
Oh, but we've been stair
Tequila
climbing, man.
diet.
We're getting our steps in.
yeah, boy.
3,000 steps.
Look at these old guys, but just bought a house in Mexico together so they could drink all the time. Is that why you did it?
Yeah.
You did, didn't you? You bought-
Actually, so yesterday I sent a picture to these fucking guys, and Lachlan, or it was Grant, he goes, so basically you spent whatever the flight costs and all this shit to go drink on a deck somewhere else, which is all we do at home. I went, yes, that's actually absolutely correct.
He was so proud of
He-
himself because he goes
said-
on these
listen.
vacations with all these plans in mind to do all these things, and they never do anything.
Doesn't
they just
do
go to
anything.
the
Just
fucking
gets
house
wasted.
and they just get
We-
shittered on the deck
We
that they are
legitimately
living
met
at.
Oliver yesterday, who's the architect, and he's trying to walk us through the concept and about organic, making it fit. I said, let me break this down for you. Start with the deck and go outward. All we want to do is drink on a deck here instead of there. So that's your fucking, that's what you have to work with. We like to drink and barbecue on the deck. So start with that and then fucking, go outwards. And he's looking at us like we had a toaster for a fucking head.
Fucking wild, dude. It's amazing because I was talking to Locke about you. And I'm like, where's he going? He's like, he's going to Mexico with his buddy Dave. Dave's a great guy. He said a bunch of nice stuff about you. I'm like, what are they doing? He's like, they're going to buy a house down there. I go, oh, good for them. Like a retirement place for those guys to go and hang out and spend winters because they're approaching retirement. Both of these guys have served this country with distinction for many, many years. Dave's a veteran as well. And Locke's like, and I'm like, oh, good. I'm building it up. And it's like, he goes, no, they're just going to go down there and drink themselves to death for the next several years.
Stop reading us.
They do that at home though, so it's not really like they're gonna go. They're still gonna drink themselves to death, whether it be in Mexico or
Just
Edmonton.
in another country.
Speaking of drinking,
I think that the best idea is to go to Mexico where the healthcare is so strong too.
Listen, the pharmacies down here. So
Way better.
yeah.
fucking, they got everything, man.
You don't
So
even need a prescription.
Yeah,
They
no one
got
ever,
everything.
no seniors ever get the shits from Montezuma's
No, man.
revenge down there.
James P. White, I'm bringing him back a bunch of Mexican dick pills because he's got an ED problem from COVID. And they sell anabolic steroids on the street here, and he needs that because he's trying to lose 20 pounds because his fat little ass is fucking a little heavy.
Yeah.
And they have it all here. It's the best healthcare system in the world.
Yeah, it's not, but that's okay. I mean, good for you. I'm glad you're building yourself a drinking tent in a totally separate fucking country. I think it's great.
They've been building this house for about 7 years. It's
Yeah.
still not built.
Anyway,
They're on the house next to the property they want to buy.
yeah.
Just drinking on this fucking poor guy's out.
I
on
don't
his
think
deck.
this place will ever get built. I don't. I think it's just
Oh,
going to
no,
be a
we're
series
in.
of like
No, we're
campers and fifth wheels and
Yeah.
and like those old school camping chairs and a bonfire. That's it. That's what's going to happen.
We're
That'll
gonna
be your
start with
house.
we're going to start with the sea can.
Are you good for you?
Oh, that's
Did you
fun.
guys see the St. Patrick's Day? Obviously, happy St. Patrick's Day to you guys. Did you see?
Cheers.
Did you see the Ottawa? Cheers to you. Did you see the news in Ottawa today? So this is like a
No.
month after the convoy. The convoy, the fake trucker convoy, where a bunch of fucking lunatic, theocratic losers decided to go to Ottawa and act like assholes and honk for legitimately 3 straight weeks. Not a day, not 3 days, not a week, 3 straight fucking weeks. And it almost drove people nuts. It's like thousands of people are in therapy because of it. It's like fucking unbelievable. And they allowed it to happen, right? Like we watched it. We were all standing there in disbelief going, holy fuck, Ottawa police, when will you do something? Well, the answer to that is today. Did you see this? This is the Ottawa police's tweet that they put out today saying, here are the fines if you guys get too loud on St. Patrick's Day.
Wow.
They put this out, common application and charges telling people to fucking chill out on St. Patrick's Day. Liquor to a person who appears to be under 19, no said fine, mandatory court date. Person under 19 years having consumed liquor, 125. If you smoke cannabis in a prohibited place, 305. Having liquor in an open container, 125. Person under 19 years of age possessing or consuming cannabis, 125. And it's not like, oh, these are the fines, so pay attention. They're handing them out. Enforcement started in the Sandy Hill area this morning, including a $1,000 bylaw noise ticket.
Wow. They're not fucking around.
Dude, they don't see the complication
irony
of this, like that how people would view this.
And why is smoking cannabis 305 and the liquor is 125? What the fuck is that? It's not even close on the spectrum.
It's all bad. Like, I read that today, and I fucking laughed out loud. And I called a friend of mine in Ottawa. I'm like, is this for real? Like, Ottawa police are actually going to start boning people? Like, the people that had to put up with 3 weeks of legitimate bullshit, legitimate tyranny, like fucking air horns going off 24/7 for 3 fucking weeks, and they didn't fine anybody. Dude, they didn't fine, arrest, nothing. They just let them fucking do it. And when you asked Ottawa police, why aren't you doing anything? They're like, it's their right. St. Patrick's Day comes along. The pandemic's almost over. Mandates are, people are flooding the streets to let loose, have fun, have some drinks that didn't try to take over the government. And they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to fine the fuck out of you for doing anything wrong today. If
Are they worried
noise.
maybe that this thing starts up again?
No.
Is that what it is?
No. I talked to the people at Ottawa Police, and they're like, hey, listen, this is the same thing every St. Patrick's Day. We put the same thing out. I'm like, did you think about this before you fucking put it out?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, because people still have to obey the law. And I'm like, yeah, but do you understand what you just did to the entire city? Like just now with that one tweet? I had the, Blue Jacket guy, Paul, he sent it to me. My friend Marianne, who lives in Ottawa, she sent it to me, whose new podcast is on the network, by the way. It's great. But it is like, it's the dumbest shit I've ever fucking seen in my life. Like, of all the stupid tone-deaf shit that I've heard in the last 2 years, I've seen and heard a lot of it. For the police in Ottawa to start writing tickets for noisy partiers today is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
like
so
fucking unbelievable.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Weird.
You think that maybe they would just let this weekend slide? Maybe let's put some distance between us and early February, late January, right? No,
it's too much.
No, they didn't do it, dude. That was the thing. And here's the other thing: they're planning another one, March 18th. They're planning that this weekend, March 18th, tomorrow. Freedom Train, Ottawa to Toronto. These fucking idiots are planning to do this again. And here's the good news is that all the stuff we've talked about seems to be true because they get no juice online. Like, nobody's talking about it. Someone had to send that to me for me to fucking know what was going on. But like nothing is happening. Nothing. Yet they're going to fucking, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Just fucking weird. Like the weirdest shit I think I've ever seen in my life.
It's simple. Punish easy targets. Okay, it's no different to me than, so in Alberta, who suffered the worst during COVID as far as economics goes? It was small businesses, bars.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, he's frozen at least.
AGLC.
He'll come back around.
It's kind of fun. Yeah, it's kind of fun. We'll just take him out because I can't see him or him. I don't even know what he's going to say, but I think he's kind of right. I think in terms of,
I think what he was just saying was that they and he's not wrong. When they're enforcing things, quite often it's the sort of the lowest common denominator, right? These people they'll abide, so we'll go after them, and we'll make an example out of them to show people that we're actually doing something. And then, like, big business, it's the same all the time. I mean, the little guy always kind of gets screwed, I think, is what he was pointing out. Right? They had that money for small businesses, right? How many, like $1 billion or something, Canada.
Deal.
And then, what ended up happening was all that money just went to big business.
Yeah.
They said, like, I think it was over 50. I'm trying not to exaggerate, but I think it was closer to 65% of the money went to multi-million-dollar companies. So the government goes, we're going to help out small businesses. And what happens? It just went to big businesses because they're good at paperwork and they just lie their dicks off, and they can't. The government doesn't have enough manpower to control it or keep an eye on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they don't actually manage it properly. So and everybody knows that. So big business just went after the fucking money, and then so the mom and pop stores where the guys are just barely, like, all they're doing is they're barely keeping their doors open. They're barely making their payments. And they probably have somebody in the family that's okay at paperwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't apply for it when they should have, and they missed out. And
yeah, it's a great point. I think that Chris was trying to make, and I think you elaborated on too, is that it's fucking bizarre, the downloading of all of this onto people that had nothing to do with it, right? And it seems to be the case all the time. There was this fund for people that you could go and access. It was like 20-30 million. And residents were shut out, and it was supposed to go to only small businesses within a certain corridor, and half of those small businesses were shut out in that corridor as well. And that money went to people that had relationships that may have lost something, or maybe they got some more money from it. I don't know. I just think it's fucking unbelievable. Like, after a month of a siege, like a siege on a capital, they laid siege to the fucking capital city of this country, and didn't ticket anyone, let them honk their horns for fucking 3 weeks straight until like 24 hours a day. They just handed out $1,000 noise bylaw tickets to people on fucking St. Patrick's Day.
The police were complicit.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
they let him in. They let him in. They sided with him, and this is just more proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, it's fucking bizarre. It was the weirdest story that I'd heard.
And we wonder why, as a society, we're becoming so cynical.
Yeah,
right.
Why we get angry?
Yeah, I like, honestly, if you're a politician or you're involved in politics on any level, and you're sitting down talking about campaigning, and I'm talking about local things, I'm talking about provincial things, I'm talking about federal things. If you're sitting down and you're coming up with a strategy on how to get in the face of the constituents, scratch off door-to-door visits. Scratch it off right now. It's a bad fucking idea. Because if you come to my door, there's going to be a fight. I don't even fucking care what party you're from. I'm going to tackle you on my front yard. And there's going to be violence. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that are on the brink of a complete meltdown when it comes to any sort of discussion revolving around politics. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps getting worse because we keep seeing more and more examples of where we're just not represented at all. Right? We're just it's not we there's nobody out there looking out for our best interests. It's and you mentioned it. There's a couple things I've learned. Follow the money. If you're wondering why something's happening, follow the money. You'll figure out once you get to the end of it, you'll have a clearer picture of why it was done. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is no one gives two flying fucks about anybody anymore. They just don't. Everyone's out for themselves. Yeah. And it's sad, but it's kind of the world that we live in. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, it's a tough world now.
Even charity, like honestly, that we thing disgusted me so much. I was just that we charity thing. That was one I was revolted by that. I think those two losers should be in jail.
Yeah,
and they won't. I think they should be in prison, and not a Canadian prison. An African prison or a Russian prison or
a Nicaraguan prison sucks balls too, by the way. You wouldn't want to be in prison here. I'm just saying.
Send them there.
Send those motherfuckers here.
Yeah. No, it's a great point. I you don't think about those things until you see tweets like that, or you see people mistreated, right? And you know, the mistreatment of Canadians has been all time, and we saw it in Ottawa specifically when you saw the people of that city get fucking treated like they were just prisoners of war, right? Well, after the war is done, you know what they're doing is they're giving them tickets if they're too loud and they party too hard today. Like that's not just downloading bullshit to the people that had nothing to do with it. That's just the sign that this country's fucked in some ways, like specifically in Ottawa. Like I've never heard anything good about Ottawa police, not once. And I have friends. I don't love police. No one just goes, "Oh, I love policing," unless you're a policeman. Like
It's a hard gig.
Yeah, it's a very difficult job. But the thing about it is that it's like everything I hear about policing and everything that we saw in Ottawa of them not policing, not doing their jobs. And then when people get a moment to go blow off some steam, they're like, not allowed. No, you're not doing it. And to your point, Lachlan, that comes from a million different things, right? Like, it's just fucking bizarre to me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What does matter, which I think is very interesting, is we still have this Tournament of Champions. Have you guys been paying attention to this?
I have. I've been voting.
Yeah, I love it.
Been trying
Have
to.
you guys been voting? Yeah.
I've been I voted.
Yeah. Today we had a beauty, and it was it's still up. Randy Hillier versus Maxime Bernier for the Tournament of Champions, Quest for
This
Freedom.
has got to be a heater.
Yeah. This is a fucking heater. You had Randy versus Max, smokes cigarettes indoors, 2022 Suspenders Model of the Year, only drinks Fax 10% beer. That's Randy Maxime, sponsored by Saint Hubert, bleeds poutine, favorite hockey player is Guy Lafleur. Max is like fucking running away with this one. Like running away with it. Yeah, and he's like a fucking underdog. He's a 12 seed. Max is a 5 seed, as you can see. And
All right, I'm going to give Randy a vote. I'm going to give Randy a vote.
You should. The first two matches we had Putin versus John Kay. That wasn't even close. 1 versus a 16. Thought we'd see an upset there just because of the way John Kay carries on and the fact everybody fucking hates him. But no, didn't see that. And then Chris Guy versus Pat King. That was like a 4% swing. Pat barely pulled that one out at the end. Maxime Bernier is just running Randy Hillier's show, and it's hard to believe.
Are you sure? Because
Well,
I
he
just
was.
voted on Twitter, and
Here's the new update. Oh my God, he's getting his ass kicked now.
I want to see Vegas odds on this.
Randy. I just voted for Randy.
Randy's in the lead now. But
Randy
dude, last time I checked, he was getting killed. So
Randy
some
doesn't need
Hillier
any help.
haters are here. No, he does not. Fuck,
doesn't
that
need
is
any help.
awesome. Anyway,
Well, the people that would vote for Randy woke up finally.
yeah.
They crawled out of bed.
You know what happens is someone sent me a tweet today and was like, Randy's not winning. And I'm like, no. I'm just like, I'm going to take care of this. That's probably what happened. That's how these things work for everybody, right?
70-30 now.
And then yesterday, Chris Sky on his little social media thing that he manages, which is just the dumbest shit you've ever seen. Chris Sky's like, help me get this win, guys. And he didn't know what the win was.
Is that guy still alive? Even I was wondering if he ghosted. Like
Yeah, he
he
did.
I'll
was
retweet this.
on Twitter and in our faces every single day for so long, and then he just went poof. Like bye.
You know what I think happened, Bonzi, is I think he got thrown in the hooskow a couple of times, and I'm not sure he liked it. So I think he started to pay a little bit more attention to how to where he was going and the press he was getting, because the legal system got sick of his shit, and they started to throw the book at him. So they weren't letting him get bail. So then he was spending a couple of nights here and there in jail. So I think that threw a loop.
He finally wised up. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he fared well in jail.
He went out quicker than Rick Astley. I wonder if he ever got the mortgage of that house in Leduc he wanted to fucking buy.
He was on Twitter trying to get money for down payment.
Yeah. That just shows how fucking crazy the guy is, right? Like nobody gets a mortgage on Twitter except for Chris Sky. He's like, anybody want to give me $300,000 for a house in Leduc?
You know what? I think he was actually close. That's how fucked up the planet is right now.
I'm gonna try that. Anybody want to give me $500,000 for a house?
Dave, we should.
Yeah,
do that.
I'm looking to buy property down here in Nicaragua. Anybody want to help out?
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does. That's
Cannabis.
unbelievable. Yeah. I don't have like. It's funny because when I think about Chris now, it's like he's gone in my mind, right?
Yeah, faded
So
into
the-
obscurity.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
and I
he's
think he
in
did that.
Edmonton.
Is he still there?
I think he's still in this area. Yeah.
Oh, is
Can't find his way out of the mall. He's in the Beyond section of Bed Bath and Beyond. Going, how the fuck do we get out of here, man?
Yeah, probably. Hey, Chris, I want to ask you a couple questions because we've taken a little break from Ukraine. Not a break, but every time we get a chance to get into it, we've had Alex on. Just sent me a text. I'm going to get to it, but I want to know what's going on because you're like a fucking munitions expert. You understand how weapons work. You know what's involved. I know you're like 8 out of 10 wasted, so we're just going to give this a go and see what happens. But
Okay.
I do want to understand what is going on in terms of the new machinery that Ukraine is getting from NATO forces, specifically from the United States. Like, I've got questions about the Switchblade drones. I've got questions about the SAM units that they're being sent, that kind of stuff. But before we get to that, what I want to know is how the freedom fighters are doing. Obviously, you're connected with them. Chris is my conduit. He's the Fire for Effect podcast host, by the way, which you can get anywhere you get your fine podcasts. And you're connected with this group of guys, several Canadian expats, former military guys that went over and are helping in Ukraine. And some of the videos and some of the pictures that he's been able to send back of, anti-aircraft guns going off and some buildings that have been hit, which he is indeed going into and trying to save people. As days go on, he's in Kyiv. But tell me a little bit about how they're doing, and then we'll get into some of the weaponry and some of the cool stuff that Ukraine might get to play with.
Yeah, so I mean, right now the amount of foreign fighters pouring in is pretty good, and the guys that have the most interest are certainly former Iron Curtain countries that are also part of NATO. They have the most vested interest, right? So you're talking about Polish guys, Hungarians, Latvians, Slovakia. They're sending in a lot of guys. Canada's got about, from what I know, 500 guys that are ex-Canadian Armed Forces guys. Some heavy hitters. There'll be some old guys that missed their war and want to be involved. And what I know is that the Ukraine kind of gave them their own training area to start building basically a battalion worth of guys. So they'll figure out who can do what, and they will likely start integrating and supporting and augmenting conventional Ukraine forces and going out and conducting operations. Or they will, this is conjecture, like I'm fucking guessing what I think it'll be, is they'll say, right, you guys function as your own independent organizations. Here's the target package. This is what we want you to go do. Go do it. So it's the amount of guys that are pouring in is really impressive.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And
I did hear, and I don't know a lot about it, but I did hear somebody talking about their involvement on it was on some news channel. I've been flipping around, so I don't even remember who it was, but it was a guy who had some experience in the military and was trained in the United States. Now he's retired, and he flew over on his own with a couple of friends, and then they made their way to Poland and then south, and they're in Kyiv right now. And he was saying that what they did when they sort of had the initiation and just inside the Ukraine border was they kind of evaluated everybody really quickly. And there wasn't a lot of training. It was more about, all right, who are you? What did you do? What kind of experience do you have? And then they broke everybody up into groups is what he was saying.
That's about correct.
Because he had a fair amount of military training, they actually made him a squadron leader and then put 4 guys underneath of him. So
10,
or 10 or whatever. Yeah. But he's a leader, and then he's got 4 lieutenants or something. He had names for them, and then they have a group of people, and they run whatever. So he was saying, and then my group is going to be responsible for different sort of activities, and so what you were saying is exactly right. Now they're getting jobs. Now they're in Kyiv, and some of them might be. He said a lot of what we're going to be doing is it might not be fighting. It might just be a rescue mission. There's a bombing at that apartment building. we're going to
that's
go.
what Marcel is at right now. Correct.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, we might have to actually create a perimeter and protect the people that are going in there to try to stop the fires and shit like that. So it was a breakdown in that regard. But he was also saying, he said, I don't want to give any numbers, but there is an impressive number of people, and the Ukraine government and the military, they're overwhelmed. They don't even know what to do with all these people, right? Like,
And that's when we talked about this a couple weeks ago. That was my fear, is that 1 million guys are going to show up, and they have to organize and maintain that, and support that. And then you got the young guys, like that young gentleman that was on a couple weeks ago that has delusions of grandeur because he played a lot of Call of Duty, versus real fucking pipe hitters that can go in and get shit done. They have to break that all out. Then they have to equip them. Then you have a language barrier problem. You have to work through that. As far as back to Dean's question about the equipment, clearly it's a threat because as of late, Russia is taking significant risk in bombing areas to the west of the Ukraine, which is a long stretch for them to get into because of the type of equipment that's coming in. And you've got the entire West supporting this, and we'll call it insurgency.
Occupation.
Is not quite the right word. Resistance.
Resistance, yeah.
Resistance is the word, okay?
Yeah.
And
I
we're
see what
talking
you're
about
saying.
Javelin anti-tank missile systems, which are very effective short-range fire and forget. They're not wire-guided. It means you can point it at your target, let her rip, and then fuck off and go do what you need to do. And, obviously with surface-to-air missile systems like Stinger, and Germany, who never exports weapons, is all in. Like, the Russians have no fucking idea what they're biting into, and their desperation right now with bombing civilian targets, and we'll get to that. It shows you how fucked up they are. You remember I was talking about waiting for this A team to show up?
Yeah.
Feels like I was wrong, and I'm glad I'm wrong. It tells me that the Russian military is actually shit. They're a junk army that has no proper command and control. Their senior leadership are fucking corrupt assholes who are selling off all of their fuel, which bottleneck their approaches into Kiev. And they underestimated the resolve of the Ukrainian people and the West. Yeah, NATO's staying out of it, but the West is going to feed this machine, and this thing is not going to fucking end in 2 weeks.
No.
It's not going to be. Putin watched the Gulf War 1 and 2 and say, "Oh, well, look at that. They took fucking Baghdad in 2 days." That's not happening here. No scenario where that happens.
Well, they were supposed to be into Kyiv like 48 hours into this thing. Now we're like over 3 weeks. Yeah, we're 3 fucking weeks, 22, 23 days into this skirmish. It's not a skirmish. It's a full-on assault. And the fascinating thing to me are some of the little stories that you pointed out that are coming out. Like his generals, he's now, I don't know if you've heard the story, he's now got 21 former army generals in jail or on house arrest. He's now got, I believe he's begged Russia for ammunition and food, and they're like, China. We're out, dude. We're fucking like not in, China. And China's like, nah, this ain't our scrap. And on top of it, one of the things that I heard were the generals that he put in jail, as well as a couple of other guys, literally sold off, they didn't just sell off fuel, they sold off and took money that was meant for improvement to their armed forces. They sold goods, they black marketed a whole bunch of weapons. So, and they didn't do what Putin had asked them to do in terms of modernizing. All they did was act like every corrupt government has ever acted in that country. Absolutely. And just stole that fucking money. So Putin thought he was coming into Ukraine. This is the story that I read. I could be wrong, but it's kind of looks that way now, right? Putin thought he had this big war machine that was super modernized, but underneath him, and he had no idea, all these Russian generals and captains and fucking lunatics were just as corrupt as him. And they sold all the shit and took all the money that was meant for improvements. So they literally walked in there with like sticks and like 60-year-old guns going, let's go. Does that sound right?
Absolutely. You just fucking nailed it. Those generals said they never thought this was going to happen, that he's going to pull this trigger and wave his dick around. And for years, they were like, that guy was one of the richest fucking dudes in the world. And all these generals are going, fuck him. If he's going to be corrupt, we're going to do it too. And suddenly they pull the trigger and say, hey, game on, we're going to go do this. and they have to play the party line and go, yeah, we're ready to go. You're not ready to go. You're fucked up, man. And that's where they are now. It's and because his fucking ego is so big and he won't back down. His whole country's turning against him. Every news interview that they're doing that you actually get to see, he sits at the opposite end of this giant ass table away from his staff because he's so fucking scared his own people are going to take him out, and they will. Eventually,
I think that's going to happen. That's my prediction. I think that at some point here, just based on, I mean, he's already created an environment where people feel like it's okay to. The entire economy is based on this sort of black market approach, and it's a gangster nation. I mean, it is. It's a mafia mentality, and everybody has it. To the point that Dean was making, the generals were taking money that was sent to them to improve the military, and they were like, they were blowing it. Right? They weren't fucking using the money to actually improve the military. And so he's created that environment because he's a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Me and Dave just met a Russian general here the other day who's buying property here. Where the fuck do you think that money come from? He's balling, man.
Did you really? Is that a true story? You didn't meet a Russian general?
You did not meet a Russian general.
That would be a fucking amazing.
So listen, does Putin? Will he? Is there a possibility that he flies off the rails before he maybe gets taken out by one of his own and really hits the red panic button and
that's
shit
the big
up?
fear. So he hasn't gone chemical yet. So my biggest fear, if you're asking me, is that he's going to fucking use chemical weapons. He's clearly got no problem with bombing civilian targets. There was a Russian lieutenant colonel pilot who was shot down a week and a half ago, and he was captured, and he came on the news and said he was flying in to bomb what he thought was a tactical target, like a legitimate target, and he called in and said, no, this is fucking apartments. This is civilian, infrastructure. And they went, you'll bomb that target. So he did it. And he came on the fucking news and he apologized and he told Russia what we're doing is wrong. And I'm sorry, this is fucking wrong. And I want everybody to rise up and go, fuck this. This is what we're doing here is wrong.
Yeah.
And you can Google that. I'm paraphrasing what I read, right?
Yeah.
That was a Russian pilot that was shot down, right? And he bailed.
Pilot, not some new guy. Senior dude.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about this is I think because of what he has done to his country over the years, if you look into it, the Russian economy is just, it's in the shit. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. The average amount of money they make in a month as an average Russian citizen is less than what they make in India. India is more affluent than Russia, and they got to deal with the weather in Russia. So he's just crippled this country. For a fact that now what's happening, because it's just going to intensify. Say what you will about the sanctions. They've never really given a shit about it. Putin's never really cared about it because all it did was just put over, sort of mask what he was doing anyway, which was all fucking black market and illegal shit. So he didn't care about the sanctions.
No, he doesn't give a fuck. He's a billionaire. He's still eating caviar every night. People are starving.
Rich people find ways of making money. In any environment. If you haven't noticed, the richest people in the world got richer during COVID. They just found ways to make more money. Yeah, that's all it was. And so rich people, if you've got a lot of money, you probably did something a little fucking sideways to get there, right? I've always believed that. Honest fucking people don't get rich. They generally, unless somebody hands them a fucking big check, right? If you made that money, you probably did some sketch shit. So now you're making it worse. Those people are going to get poorer. It's going to get harder. At some point, there's going to be a conversation in a room behind closed doors about sticking a grenade up that guy's ass. Like, it's going to fucking happen. And the sooner the better. Absolutely. And he has a right to be scared. I noticed that too when I saw some footage of a press conference that he was holding, and he
That one
literally
yesterday?
he was literally a football field away from anybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
His
like
own
it's
people
literally a
will take it out.
60-foot long table, and he had 8 guys at one
Exactly.
end, and 50 feet away was him.
Someone's gonna
It's
fucking
like
kill
right
him.
out of a comedy movie.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
fucking
totally.
joke.
Someone's
like-
gonna kill him.
Yep.
His
Yeah,
penis
you
is
know,
so
listen,
small,
you
it's
know his
unreal.
people are thinking about it. There's only so much of this shit they're going to take, and they're going to go,
Yeah.
fuck that guy. We got
There's
to take
Dave.
him off the map. Boom.
Here's Dave and his tiny
He's got a
nipples
lot
right behind
going
him. Yeah, he sure does. You know what he's
Yeah.
got? You know what he's got right now? He's had like 43 shots of tequila. I watched it. He's got the
Look at that
spins.
pose.
He's got the
He's got
same
the-
Patty's Day spins.
Dave's a
Oh, yeah.
gamer. No,
Oh,
he's
is he?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah,
Dave-
easy.
Dave
So
will
this-
disappear for an hour or two here in the next little while. Like he'll just wander off into the city.
Speaking of Russia, this just happened. There's another connection to it. Rob put this out. Mayor John Tory demanded a review of Doug Ford's $144 million backroom deal with Russian oligarch.
Oh, I love it.
Shocking.
Like, that's one of the things obviously the support for the people of Ukraine and having Alex on and talking about munitions and how the people of Ukraine are doing, and talking about the hope that's there, military hope, the hope of the people. This is fucking unbelievable. So Oleg Deripaska is like one of the most powerful Russian oligarchs out of all the oligarchs. He's considered one of Putin's top 2 or 3 guys. Now,
Yep.
It was announced the other day with sanctions that there are Russian sanctions that were coming for Canadian businesses where Russians were in business. Now, what came out of that was a question where Doug Ford was standing next to John Tory the other day in a presser, and he's like, what's the deal with this Russian guy that's building the subways? Because that is what this guy, the subway extensions and the construction project for Toronto's LRT subway extensions were given to Oleg Deripaska by Doug Ford several years ago, not even a couple of years ago. And his construction company, which is, I believe they've got contracts to build those tunnels in and around. Does that not concern people that our Russian dude was able to secure a contract and a sourced contract? I don't know if it was single source, double source, many different sources. Knowing exactly who this guy was 2 years ago, where Doug Ford knew who this guy was and did this anyway. Like,
show that video of the interim leader for the Conservative Party not clapping.
oh yeah, I'll get it out for you. That's a fucking great comment, right? Like, you're starting to see these things
Follow
connect.
the money.
Yeah.
She got a fucking someone slid her some cash for
Big
something.
old
It has some Russian
handshake.
shit on it, and she's sitting in Parliament going, "Oh, for fuck's sakes, I'm fucked. Someone's gonna find out about that fucking thing I did with the steel company in Manitoba.
Oh yeah.
Fuck." Because
Oh, yeah.
that's exactly what all these politicians do. Because they don't make shit, so they got to make these backroom deals. And it's all fucking quid pro quo. La, da, 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 da. Oh, yeah, no, we don't need to see any other fucking contracts.
Lest
No, you'll
anybody
be
think
fine.
this
You can
is
build
new,
the
though.
subways.
Yeah.
None of this is new. None of this is new. The
It's been
problem
going
is,
on forever.
yeah, this has been going on forever. And the problem with it is now, and the reason why these guys are all shitting their pants is because now Ukraine is getting the support that they deserve from Western. Why do you think Justin Trudeau didn't put a couple of those fucking oligarchs on the list, on the sanctions list?
Yeah.
Because they were trying to find a way to fucking hide money that was fucking coming into Canada. For sure, they were thinking, shit,
Right.
someone's gonna find out about that fucking deal we did in fucking Quebec. For
Yep.
sure.
Oh, dude, and it's they've got their hands in everybody's pockets, like
Yes,
and
of
so
course they
do
do.
the political system here in this country, and it's not just like hands in everybody's pockets. But you're right, like you're 100% right. We're only going to go after the people who Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party and our legal system can go after if those people don't have extreme ties to people in this country that need to be protected by the government.
And what do you
That's
think
how
Dingle
this
Nuts
works.
does? Dingle Nuts goes, yeah, don't put me on any fucking list. Or guess what? People are going to find about that fucking plane deal, Justin. Like, that's exactly what happened. I bet you there was a lot of those kind of phone calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Fucking
yeah,
fascinating.
it's all
fascinating.
crooked. And my cynicism grows and my blood pressure gets higher and
You get angry.
and don't come to my door. Hi.
You get
They crush his-
frustrated.
Have you been thinking about who you're going to vote for?
Bridge pack.
I fucking need a bridge pack too. Actually,
Before we
it's
leave,
been a rough week.
before we leave, Chris, move on to Bonzi. Army Chris, I got a question for you. You sent this to us the other day. This is you in Afghanistan, is that correct? And this Afghan kid giving you the finger, telling you to fuck off. Is this you?
So that's, yeah, this is about fucking, I want to say March 2010. We were coming in
Look at
from
your
a big
face.
event.
Look at your face. You look like the most miserable fuck on the planet in this picture.
Okay,
He
so
looks
we
like
can't-
that
He hasn't
dude
had
right
a
out of
drink in
Platoon.
3 months.
ambient,
'Cause it's
that's
dry.
correct. Ambient air temperature is about 48 Celsius that day. I think I just fucking humped in 60 pounds of gear, 6 kilometers, to try to give that little fucking cunt a fucking better life. And so can I say that word? Sorry, I was saying cunt before Jim Jeffries could spell it. And my whole team, so what you don't see, and I have the pictures, my whole team, I got a 5-man team, walks in ahead of me, and he waves at them. But the minute I go by, I get that shit.
Yeah, you know why? Because Army
Was there-
Chris
was there
wouldn't
any
give him
party of
wouldn't
that-
give him a candy bar, so he got that. That's all he wanted. He just
I-
wanted a piece of candy. And Army
I'll
Chris
give
is like,
him,
Did you
I'll
just
give him
want to turn
Methloquin.
around and dust them?
I'll hand him some Methloquin so he blows his ass out. Fuck you, kid.
were you taking that back in the day?
No, I took one and blew my ass out, and I gave the rest to kids like him. I'm not lying. I'm like,
Did you give
yeah,
that-
I've been here twice. I haven't seen a fucking mosquito once. I'm not taking this shit again.
Meanwhile, it was the Canadian military drug testing.
Oh yeah, they're like, here's 2. You got to take this shit for a week. And after I fucking downloaded my guts, I'm like, yeah, no, we're not doing that again.
Yeah, you just told him you did. Did you lie to him? Yeah, I took them all.
They don't even
I'm
ask.
good.
So I'm like, legit. I'm like, I'll just hand them out to these kids, which is kind of a shitty thing to say, but I did.
You're fucked, dude. You're the most
Well,
fucked guy I've ever. You
sounds
sent
like
that
a
picture. You sent that picture. No word of a lie in our DMs. I'm like, look at this picture. There's Army Chris in the army 12 years ago, and look at his face. He's got this look on his face like, fuck, I really
Pure
need a beer.
misery.
And then behind it, and he's carrying heavy shit. And behind him, there's this poor Afghan kid in the full-on gear. And
Going,
he's
"Fuck
not
you."
Muslim at all. He's like, go fuck yourself. And this kid can't be 9. And he's giving you the best finger I've ever seen in my life.
He is. I was like,
Fuck you, bud.
all I was thinking when
Fuck
my buddy
you.
JT, so the vantage point is my buddy JT. He was our medic. They hung back. He sends me this picture. I'm going, where the fuck did that kid even learn that?
Probably from you guys.
Probably
Yeah,
from
you
us.
gringos.
You know why he's giving you the fingers? Because you gave him some medication that gave him dysentery. That's why. It's like, fuck, thanks a lot for the
That
shit.
could be it. You know, I helped them clear out. Like, I want to help them with the cleansing. You know what I'm saying? And yeah,
Yeah,
Ross,
that's
I
always
hadn't had
Goal
a
is
beer in
camel,
3 months.
too.
I
Yeah.
have not had a beer in 3 months at that time.
That
Wasn't happy.
sucks. I know you to be a heavy drinker. Like, how the fuck did you go without alcohol in the army?
You know what? So Lachlan made me a bet,
Yeah.
thinking I couldn't do it. I was 2 years ago. I think me and Grant did dry February-ish. And I went, we just do it. Like, me and Dave like drinking. He's right here actually drinking. We got more tequila shots poured up. Let's have one.
Okay, go ahead.
Be rude not to. You're paying for this fucking bottle, by the way.
Stop yelling.
But in all seriousness, when we deploy, in all seriousness, as I have a shot of tequila in front of me, you just turn it off. You just don't drink. You just get there and fucking get your game on. Because here's the thing. When you're going outside of that wire, you need to have your shit wire tight, man. You can't be fucking off. Because everybody there wants to kill you. So, I don't know. Maybe I want to keep my head straight on a swivel and fucking get on with the business. So we just do it. But the minute we can have a beer, we have 10 times more than they probably want us to. Like, we destroyed Cyprus. We had this thing called decompression,
Ooh.
where they sent us to Cyprus, a place called Paphos, Cyprus, where we decompress, and it is an absolute fucking gong show. Because you can't take, 350 guys at a time who have just been fucking fighting in the desert for months and then say, hey, here's a 5-star resort. Go do what you want.
Drink what you
How the
want.
fuck do you think that ends?
Not well? Is that what you're saying? Not well?
Not well.
Not well. No, I didn't think it did.
How is the tequila down there? Is it
Yeah.
I
is
just
it
got it.
better
Well,
than
shiver.
Let me do a plug for my man Johnny. I hate tequila.
Me too.
I
That's
fucking
why I was
hate it.
surprised
I can
by
tell.
this.
We always go
Yeah.
to these bullshit bars and people want to buy us, and some guys, we're gonna do tequila shots. You're like, fuck you, no, we're not. And every time I come to Mexico, I've been here a lot. There's always some fucking guy going, "You got to try this tequila." I'm like, no, I don't. But so we're over at this bar, and I'm doing a podcast this weekend with this guy Johnny. He's a former former Rap Tack guy. Him and his brother open a bar, and they have a tequila distillery thing, right?
By the
Yeah,
way,
no,
sorry, if you can't, just in case, because Dave just held up a bottle of half-drank tequila. That bottle was full when we started this podcast. But
Yeah, I know, man. It's not going well.
56 minutes. 56
So-
minutes.
So he goes, try this tequila out. And I tried it out, and it was actually pretty goddamn good. It's not like the shit we drink in the bar at home where you need
Yeah.
salt and a lemon and the whole procedure. It was too much.
Lobotomy.
Yeah. But I don't mind this tequila. I really don't. And I
Yeah.
fucking hate
We can
tequila.
tell. Yeah, we can tell, bud. You're fucking
Listen,
wasted.
Copious
I'm
amounts of
going
Johnson
nowhere with
back.
this answer, man. Like, I'm just fucking
Hey,
right.
do you want to see? That's
dirty.
okay, dude. You're fun wasted. There's like fun wasted and there's sad wasted. I uncovered this fucking video from like 2 years ago. The Bonzi sent me
let's
when he
see.
came in.
This is what I've been hanging on for. Let's fire it up.
This is one of the fucking greatest videos you will ever see.
Okay, can we set it up? Like,
Yeah.
Set the
what
tone.
was the point
Bonds,
of
you
this?
set it up. Bonds, you set it up. I
Yeah.
would like that. Yeah.
Come
You
on,
tell us.
Bonzi.
Because I can
So-
forget the story.
Here's what happened. I was living here in Nicaragua. I've been here 3 years on and off and mostly living here. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I was running a bar here, managing a bar. I was working 12 to 14-hour days. And I was having the time of my life, entertaining people every day behind the bar, getting wasted myself every day, just having a good time. Life was simple down here. It was easy. You're kind of in a bubble here. Then COVID hit, and I had to go home. So I went from partying my ass off, entertaining copious amounts of people all day long and all night long, to being trapped in my parents' basement because my house was rented out when I had to go home all of a sudden. And night 4, I'd had a fucking enough. I wasn't even allowed upstairs. I couldn't talk or see to my parents because they put the fear of God on us. I didn't want to give my 73-year-old parents COVID. So I literally was trapped in the basement. My youngest brother was kind enough to get me a couple of cases of wine, couple ounces of weed, and on night 4 I was 2 bottles of wine deep and decided I needed to entertain people because I'd fucking had enough, and I was lonely and bored, and I was dark, and this is what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most disturbing 2 minutes you'll ever see in your life.
Golf champion, and I'm the female golf champion, and I have my own parking spot in Bonzi's parents' driveway. Wow, I'm really, really, really proud of you there,
This is not what I expected.
blue eyes weirdo Sinead O'Connor looking thing. How tough was
Yeah,
it
you gotta
winning
come see
the,
this.
the
I'm not.
uh,
I
I don't even know where the fuck we are. Dark dungeon golf facility in my parents' basement. At this folks' point, I'm just winging it. Well, listen, Bonzi, I had to grind really hard against, Captain One Eye over there, and well, Shooter McGav, slit your throat, McGavin. I almost beat him too. Well, by beat him, I mean, well, on the golf course, and well, never mind. But I beat him there too, and well,
Buddy,
I wouldn't touch
Ouch.
One Eye with a.
this is what COVID will do to you.
I can't say his name right now, but because that would have been really funny, but I had
I've
to.
never seen this back before.
What
If I made a
are we
video
watching?
like that, I wouldn't let anyone see it, man.
What's the doll in the back? Why do you have a
Where did
Chucky
you get
doll
that
in
head?
your mom's basement? There's
I
so
want I
much-
want to lay out the scene for people. So this is 2 years ago. Bonzi's probably 30 pounds more than he is now, and he looks disgusting, like just sweaty, fucking massive.
So
gross
hold on,
sweater.
is that just wine?
And he's holding. Hang on, he's holding the head of a mannequin, and he's interviewing the head of a mannequin in his parents' basement with a couple of other mannequins set up, and he's literally interviewing this mannequin head like she just won an LPGA tour event. For whatever reason, I don't know.
I'm really bothered by this whole thing.
Why is there fucking mannequins in your
What's
basement?
with the Chucky doll? Why is there a Chucky doll?
I'll tell you why. My parents are huge Halloween freaks. We all are, the whole family. And every year they put on this huge display out front of their house for charity for our youngest, my nephew.
All right. I don't care about any of that. Let's play more of this video.
That's
This
where they
is
all
fucking
came from.
awesome.
Like we need to see this
Dump butt
again.
in right now, Bonzi. You would have hit it. And anyways, four paws over there. That bitch. All she's good at is running around in circles. I putted and outdrove her like a champion. As for you, Bonzi.
When we bury you, Bonzi.
I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole either, but
When we bury you,
you're not a
Bonzi.
bad golfer.
I'm going to start my
Stewie'd
speech
be
with,
better to
thank
have.
you for coming, everyone. And
So
then I'm going to
let's
put
get
it
out.
on the screen and I'm going to go, play the video, please.
Bonzi, when
This
I
went
asked
on-
you yesterday, if you'd hit bottom, you didn't really get into it, but now it feels like I get it.
That was, if there was rock bottom, Chris, that was probably it.
Was
All
that
right.
it? No, and I'm being serious because this is why I wanted to bring it up. You look terrific. You're tan. The skullet is gone. The booze sweats are gone. You like that's got to feel like it is 2 years ago. It's got to feel like 2 years ago
It
for
is.
you, right? It's 2 fucking years ago. That's a different world. Like I don't recognize that guy. Like that guy scares me a little bit. Like if I was hanging out with that guy, I'd be like, we should probably call a psychiatrist.
There's an amount, there's a bit of fear and
Yeah.
some concern.
Yes.
That's 2.5 bottles of wine deep and copious amounts of marijuana, and that's it. That's all I had in my parents' basement.
Come on. There's
no,
coke,
I
on,
swear.
dude.
You
Dude,
were on
no, have you-
mushrooms,
watch your face.
motherfucker.
Watch your
I
face.
just
There's
got
got to be coke. There's
And I'm
look
the
at you.
female golf champion, and I have my own parking spot.
I can
Yeah,
swear to you.
that's-
I'm with
I
Dean.
can swear to you,
I'm
there's
with
no
Dean.
cocaine. Listen, I was at the point
You
where I
didn't
would have
hit
loved some
play,
cocaine
and just
that
before
night.
you hit record, you went,
No,
I need to clear
because
my
I was
head.
in. I just got off an airplane 4 days ago, and I was trapped in my parents' basement. Where the fuck was I getting cocaine from?
You-
Listen,
I
you
had
would- hold
wine
on.
and I had booze.
Bonzi, I got off
you
an
admitted
airplane
that
3
you
days
got
ago, and I'm
home.
not talking to a fucking mannequin.
You admitted on a podcast that I was on with
That
you
wasn't-
recently that
Yeah.
you got off of a flight
I
and
did.
you walked through security, got home, and found a dime bag in your pocket.
I did. Yeah,
That's a good
and
point. That's a
that
good
wasn't
point.
that time though. That was Christmas.
Was it a different
I came
time you
home for
traveled
Christmas.
with cocaine internationally?
It was the only. It was the only time, and it was completely by accident. I didn't put it in my bag either. By the way, it
All right.
fell in
Second
there.
only time.
It fell in there. That sounds like an excuse. You tell the police.
It did. I don't know how it got
You
there.
know what?
I swear
I don't know
to
how
this
it got
day, I
there.
don't.
That's like the number one excuse given in ERs, by the way, when they
cocaine is
find
a hell of a drug.
Yeah, that's
My-
the number one
my
excuse when they find people, like when ER people go
tequila.
to like they go to ER with something in their asshole. That is the number. I was reading about it like a couple of days ago. The number one excuse for people to go to ER with things stuck in their rectum is I fell.
I fell on it. The
Yeah,
guy
so way
that
to go.
fell, the guy that had to go to the hospital in the UK, he's a collector of military shells, I guess. And he went to the emergency, and they had to remove some big thing from his ass, and he had said that he fell on it.
Come on.
Like
That's a
tank
true
Wow.
fucking story. A guy with I gotta hold on.
Oh, dude, it's 100% true. It's bomb squad called after
Yeah.
man lodges WW2 anti-tank round in rectum.
Now, I don't know much about like bullets for guns, but that sounded like it might be big.
Well, hold it. The phrase shell shock takes on a new meaning when a man in Gloucester, England, managed to lodge a, quote, 2-inch wide World War II anti-tank shell inside his anus.
Said he fell on it. How big would that be, Chris?
That's rough. So probably 105 millimeters or 70. No, actually, that would be 76 millimeters, which is big.
Is that bigger than my arm?
Yes, I mean, I know you're into fisting and everything, but fucking, it's bigger than that.
Yeah, it's 2 inches wide, so it's that wide, right? Yeah.
Ouch.
The rectum's owner. The story goes on. This is like fucking from December.
I love how they refer
This
to
is
it as the
recent.
rectum
We
owner.
just talked about this.
Yeah, the rectum's owner, who understandably chose to remain anonymous, told staff of the hospital the 57 millimeter round. Holy fuck! Was part of the man.
Hey, the 57 mil. That's German stuff. You're getting into some German fucking
German
Kaiser
shit.
porn, man.
Said the 57 millimeter round was part of the man's WW2 memorabilia collection. Locke, you fucking nailed it. Great memory. It became embedded inside his anus after he, quote, slipped and fell.
Not a story I would forget.
We're fucking, me and Dave are like 8 tequila shots deep in shit face, and this is the conversation. Is
Wow.
fucking believable.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah,
You're
man.
welcome.
Actually, Bonzi, outside of you talking to a mannequin's head, man, did you have unexploded ordnance in your ass at the time, man?
No, I don't think
Never. I really didn't.
In Bonzi's parents' driveway. Wow, I'm really, really, really proud of you there,
Played it again.
blue eyes,
Oh my
weirdo
God.
Sinead O'Connor looking thing.
Nice.
When you watch that,
This went on for 42 minutes, and about 32 or 33 minutes in, my dad actually came downstairs while I was live and tore a strip off me, and he's like, "Oh, I've had enough of this bloody nonsense. Will you stop swearing?" Because his man cave's right above, and he was watching the Leafs game or one of his love story movies he watches.
You did this
And
live?
This was live on Facebook
Oh
Live.
my
It was the first time I ever went live.
Oh my God.
That's how
Can't
Bonzi
believe-
Live started.
that was your first Facebook Live? That was your first Bonzi Live?
Wow.
Yep, that's how it all started. Was that night, and it was
Well,
almost
hasn't
2
changed much,
years.
really.
2 years to the day today, guys, is the night that San Juan del Sur shut down. 5 days later, I was home, and so that we're only a week out from that being 2 years to the date when that happened.
Hopefully that
quite
shows up
the-
as a memory on your Facebook feed.
Yeah,
I hope so.
So how did
That
you
would've
get
been
your
really-
hands on it, Bonzi? Or Dean? How did you get a
He
hand
sent
on
it to me. So he did his first podcast, and it was funny because he called me when he got back, and he's like, "Hey, I want to get into content. I want to do some stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I had known him a little bit, and I knew he was fucked in the head. I didn't know he was that fucked in the head. So, we had 2 podcasts in the network at that time. We got like 120 now, but we had 2 podcasts in the network, and I'm trying to grow the network, and we were kind of taking anybody at the time. And Bonzi sends this to me. He's
Really?
like, he goes,
You
"What do you
can't tell.
What do you think of this?" No, we didn't post it. He's like, "What do you think of
It's
this?"
funny, but I had to. If there was a dump button right now, Bonzi, you would have hit it. And anyways, 4 paws over there. That bitch.
Do you know why this blows my mind? I'm going to tell you why. I took
because
6
I
months
didn't
off
put
work.
it in the podcast network because I didn't understand what was
Yeah.
happening. Most of it was like,
took
I wanted
fucking-
to. I phoned him and I go, "I think you need an intervention," and he's like, "Oh no, I'm fine now.
I'll be
It was
good."
Just a bad night." Yeah.
I took 6 months off work to get into podcasting to get my mental health leveled, and this is what I ended up with.
Wow. Success.
Like,
Hey, listen, we all
What
have
about
to start
tonight?
somewhere.
I honestly feel better about my life now.
Yeah. Well, fuck, everybody does. This is a 40, what at the time, 43-year-old man playing with mannequins in the
47.
basement. Yeah, you're fucked. 47-year-old man playing
He's
with
in his
mannequins
mom
in
and
the
dad's
basement.
basement. high as
Everybody
fuck,
does.
talking to a mannequin.
All she's good at is running around in circles.
Sweet.
Just waffled.
Dude, and think about how far you've come. Like, you sent me these pictures today of you getting wasted again with the Nicaraguan baseball team yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
those
that.
guys.
I love that
We-
Bonzi's the only one with a drink.
Here's the great part. Bonzi sent me this picture today, and I was talking to Chris prior to the show, and I'm loading these assets in, and I go, "Hey, great show with Bonds yesterday. You guys were great." And he's like, "Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really wants to not drink and get his life in order, and he's doing a great job, and he's turning the page." And I'm like, "Yeah, I love the guy." And then I open this up to load it in assets, and there's Bonzi just getting fucking hammered with a Nicaraguan baseball team.
And Bonzi,
Hey, listen,
I FaceTimed you
beer.
the other day. I FaceTimed you the other day, and I woke you up at noon, and you were hung titties, man. You were a fucking
That's not true. That's not even true at all, motherfucker. Don't tell
100%
lies.
True. You
No,
told
it's
me you
not.
were out
I don't
drinking for
sleep
your buddy's
until noon
birthday
here.
party.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to a buddy's birthday party. I wasn't feeling the greatest, but I never sleep until noon. I got work to do. I'm up every day on that beach, whether I'm hungover or not, and
On that
we're out
beach.
there.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
that beach.
Show
Last
that
week you
picture
told
again.
us
Where I
which one?
almost
that
killed a
picture
snake
again.
yesterday.
Hey, can anyone point out the one with the drinking problem?
Yeah, look at him. Look at him getting ready to go play too. Look at he's fucking got a baseball jersey on. He's got his gloves. Somehow
love
he
it,
found
man.
cleats in Nicaragua too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snake. Sorry, I hit the wrong one. Oh, you don't like this? This is a video like
No, I get one.
again. This you took this video the other day. This is a snake. Is that what you're saying? It's like a little snake.
This
This guy is absolutely goddamn bonkers.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I'll just got it. Any. But
Those are
snake
poisonous?
could've killed him. They're extremely poisonous. But venomous, whatever you call them. One little bite can ruin your life quickly, and they don't have all the proper what do you call it, anti-venom stuff down here for every single kind of snake around here. That's why you're not going to catch my ass in the ocean anymore in and around here, because there's a lot of them right now. What's happening here in San Juan del Sur is the water's really cold, and those sea snakes hate the cold water, so they hit the beach and come and lay there and kind of bake in the sun to warm up until the sun warms the water later in the day, and then they get sucked back out with the tide, right? So it's not uncommon to see a whack of them on the beach in the early mornings when I'm out there running and stuff. And this guy just picks it up like it was nothing and hucked it back into the ocean, and I'm like, dude,
He's
you're
not a
absolutely
pussy.
insane.
Yeah, it's because he
Dude,
doesn't
there's
have a
being
snake
a pussy
phobia
and there's
he's
being
not a-
smart. Come on.
Well, dude, it's not going to
I'm
kill you.
with-
Like you
I'm
can't
with
even
Bonzi.
look at them. You're a pussy a little bit about snakes. You need to get over this shit
I am.
because.
Well,
Well, no, you're not. You just, dude, you sent those to me and you were freaking out, and you couldn't even look at it when I played the fucking video.
I know. I hate it. I
know, but don't act like a big tough guy and go, oh, there's this kid, because you're not a big tough guy around snakes. You're a huge pussy. Just to fucking own
Yes.
it. Yes.
I do own that. I admit it. I've never hid from the fact that I'm a pussy when it comes to snakes. But I'm still man enough to take that fucking video and photos
Yeah,
more
you
than
are.
other people would do. It's all about the content, and you guys getting to laugh at me and make fun of me.
Dave,
Well, today has been a banner day for that, bud. Hi, Dave.
Hey, yeah, Chris
Nick.
is just going to relieve himself, so I'm a standing guy, I guess.
Tarps off and everything.
Mexico. What is going on with David?
Dave.
How do you...
I know Dave through Army Chris. So the thing that people don't know about Dave is one of the greatest human beings I have ever met.
I like to think so, yes.
Yeah. But he's also this is bothering him that Army Chris made him do this.
Is a little bit.
Why are you
He
bothered
wants-
by it?
he wants
Is it
no
because you're
part of
shirtless, or you just don't like attention? Are you just a humble guy?
Honestly, I really enjoy the podcasts and everything, but I don't like my life being thrown out there. I got
Okay. So Chris
And-
just thought
and
he'd throw your
Fort
life out.
Lauderdale
there.
is
Don't let him talk.
Oh man, God. Okay, I'm all.
What the fuck have you been doing? I just went for a piss. You just stand there. You don't
Have a
talk.
tequila.
Why'd you make him stand there, Chris? You didn't have to fucking stand there. You just
Well,
why
he's
did
gonna
you
fuck
just
it.
had to go for a piss. That's all you had to do. Look at these guys are like two old married chicks.
Yells at him. That's it.
Man, we went to Vegas and this happens to Dave
Oh,
all the time
Dave.
wherever they travel. We go to Vegas. We hit the ground, and we're drunk. We're drinking all the way down there. We're drinking all the way to the hotel. We get to the hotel, and then Dave would just disappear for like 3 hours, and then everyone's like, "Where's Dave?" And then like he would just wander back and just like wouldn't say a word.
That was 3 hours to miss me, man.
Here's the thing: if you ever watched that movie, Mr. Deeds, right, with Adam Sandler, the fucking butler, John Turturro, Dave's that guy. He just show up like fucking from nowhere, man. We'd be kilometers from where we were. He'd just walk over the Ryan Coke, going, "Hey, where are you guys? You know what's going on? Well, where the fuck have you been, man?" Like hours later, Lachlan could speak to this. This is no bullshit, dude.
Yeah.
Or you'll go. Is he
every
that
day
guy
we
where
lose
you
him
go
for like
somewhere
3-4
with him?
hours.
Like you go to a concert with Dave? Is he this guy? Everybody knows this guy. Everybody's got this guy in their friend group. Where you go somewhere as a group, and one guy just splits.
Yeah.
And,
That's him. That's
and
him.
you look for him, and you're worried about him, and then out of nowhere, right before the bus is getting
He'll
ready to
just
pull
show
stakes, he just walks up and goes, "Hey, guys, this was a great time, huh?"
I know. That's Dave. He just fucks up. And listen,
Let's do a quick line.
I have been all over the world with him, all over the planet. I've been in fucking outside of Afghanistan working. We've been in Europe, most countries. We go 2-3 times a year. Belize, fucking St. Lucia, Mexico. He just fucks off and shows up hours later and goes, "Hey, what's going on?" And you're like, "Where the fuck have you been?"
As long as it's not days. Has he ever taken off for days?
Saw it in Vegas. He just fucked off and showed up hours later.
No.
Out of nowhere. It's like, "Hey, guys, that was a lot of fun, huh? Where the fuck were you?"
That's it, Dean.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
the guy. That's the guy.
Didn't he get locked in some elevator at a Kid Rock cruise or something?
Okay, so we were on the Kid Rock cruise and they fucking okay.
You guys went on the Kid Rock cruise?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
we
they
did.
did.
It was fucking off the hook 5 days. So fucking Dave just fucks
Don't
off.
forget,
and he does.
Uncle Cracker was there too.
Yep. And I'm like, "Where the fuck have you been?" And he goes, "Well, I was stuck in the elevator and there was a band in there. Like a band was playing in the elevator, just going up and down. And Dave he's buying beers for these fucking assholes in this elevator. They would stop and there'd be like Jorge with a bucket of fucking beer. Dave would buy it. And he was in an elevator. How long were you in that elevator? Like 2 fucking hours.
Yeah, there was a little drinking.
Just going up and down with his band.
There was a bathroom issue.
Wow.
This is no bullshit, man.
Well, I'm glad to meet Dave today, first of all, and I'm glad I'm meeting him on
You'll
St.
never be
Patrick's
on
Day.
again. So enjoy.
Yeah, probably not. Dave and his tiny nipples.
Come
But
here,
Chris, like,
stand here.
yeah, go block the scene for me. Like, it's a podcast. You don't need someone to stand in for you on the podcast if they're not talking.
I just had to have a pass. I'm like, just stand here, but don't say anything.
He
I come
yelled
back,
at him when he came back.
"You're right."
You let him talk. I told
Yeah.
you not to talk.
Yeah, and he didn't
Like
want to
we're
be
not
on the
gonna
show.
talk
He
to
just
Dave.
told us he doesn't like this, but you made him do it.
Well, he couldn't find his shirt, and he's sensitive about his nipples.
Army Chris, thanks, dude. Appreciate you. You go on
Thank you.
vacation. As always, great to
We
run
got to
into you.
bounce.
All right, you get out of here. That is Army Chris. Fire for Effect, the podcast at the Army Chris is where you can find him. He's in Mexico, and he'll be back in a couple weeks. I don't know, maybe. Dave might not come back at all. And Chris might come
Dave's
home
not
and
here.
show up at the airport, and all of a sudden there's Dave with a pint getting off, going,
That was
that was a
fucking
great
highly
time.
probable.
Wasn't it?
Hey,
It was a lot of
man.
fun. But yeah, appreciate you, brother. We'll talk to you soon. There's Army Chris, ladies and gentlemen. Bonds, great to see you too.
Thanks, Nate.
At Bonzi Live. Sorry we missed you yesterday. Podcast tonight
all
or
good.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
do you got? What do you got?
We've actually.
Da-da-da-da.
I gotta think. Oh, I've got a Canadian producer, Mike Bem. Canadian producer, musician. He's got a brand new album coming out with his band, and really, he's actually built and made a studio down here where many Canadian and American bands have come down here and recorded and stuff. And his studio overlooks the ocean, and it's a pretty cool setup. So that's what we got
cool.
tomorrow night.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And this weekend, Saturday, I'm going on a catamaran to interview the owner. It's this catamaran is awesome. It's called Salt Nika. Takes people out on it every day. It's a party catamaran thing. And I actually got to ride with the owner from Panama through the canal up to here on the catamaran. So we're going to go have a special little Saturday afternoon and do a sit-down interview with him. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, good for you, brother. And you look great. You were great on Fire
Thanks.
for Effect last night. It was great to see you. You did a great job.
Thanks, Steve.
and listen, that video that you made 2
We're
years
hanging
We've
ago.
come
on
a
to
long
that.
way, haven't we?
We're not.
We've
Yeah,
come a
we'll
long
be.
way.
Fuck you, dude. You're doing great. I hope you look at
Go
that and you
check
go,
it
"Fuck,
out.
I'm doing pretty good."
It's the first time I've never watched it back because I'm not a big fan like that.
Oh, you haven't?
seeing that
Here,
stuff
no,
and
it's
that
good. Watch
nonsense.
this. Yeah, it's
I
good.
putted and outdrove her like a champion. As for you, Bonzi, well, I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot
Waffled.
pole either, but
Anyway, came a long way. It's great to
You
see him.
know,
We'll talk to you.
We need to have the clip of your dad coming down yelling at you. I need that in my life.
It's on there. We'll find it.
Yeah.
Somebody
Dig
else
it
can
up.
find it because I'm not going back and looking through that. That's enough for
Is
me.
that
right there.
embarrassing? Is that embarrassing?
It's not embarrassing. It's actually, it makes me proud of where I'm come. Listen, I'm in therapy now. Lest you think any different, I am drinking way less. I'm feeling so much better. I talked about this on Army Chris's pod.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the future and how I'm feeling and what's coming up for the summer. So it's going to be a good year.
Good, brother.
And I am
Great.
proud of where I've come from.
Good, you should. That's why I wanted to play it for 2 reasons. One, to embarrass you, but also two, to show you how far you've come. And I'm
You
proud.
can't
of you.
embarrass Bonds.
You can't
Bonds has
embarrass
got too much humility.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's you know what we were talking about that this morning because I think it's a gift. It's something you need in this business. You have to, or it's going to be used, or it's going to kill you. Like, you have to have thick skin. You have to have humility. You have to have enough, be self-aware enough to realize when you've made a mistake and what people might really think. And if you don't have that, you're in fucking trouble. Like, you need people in your life that are honest with you as well. That's another like I saw that Nancy Pelosi story where she's going to read a Bono poem about Ukraine. And I'm like, there is two individuals that have lost touch with anybody and everyone that's honest with them in their lives. That's what's happening there. Because one, Nancy Pelosi can't spit out a fucking sentence, so she shouldn't be reading a poem. And number two, Bono shouldn't be writing a poem for Ukraine. It's just all of it's wrong on so many levels. And I'm it's not about the Ukraine. It's not about the topic. It's about those two people. They're going to embarrass themselves. And no one on the planet is going to say it out loud that it's the wrong thing to do, but we're all thinking it. It's going to be a fucking train wreck. Keep those people around you that are honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what level of life you achieve, the success or failure, keep those people around you that are fucking, dude,
not
Bono,
the thing. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I didn't know
write
Bono was
pop
still
songs.
alive. I honestly thought he was fucking dead.
Go write pop songs for fucking Disney movies.
Yeah.
No one wants you meeting fucking presidents or prime ministers. No one gives a fuck about your political stance. Shut the you know what? You want to help out? Write a check, give it to somebody,
And shut the
go
hell up.
home and pour yourself another pint.
And shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Yeah. Bonds, great to see you as always, brother. Follow my friend Greg
Likewise.
Bond at Bonzi Live on Twitter. Tripping with Bonzi on YouTube. Go and subscribe to his show. It is
Massive
great
humility
to see
right
you.
here.
Yeah.
Massive
he's awesome.
humility.
Yeah. One of the
Love
best.
you, Locke. Love you, Diener.
Love
Thanks,
you too,
guys.
buddy. We'll talk
Take
to you
care,
soon.
buddy.
There he goes. You going
He
out now?
he didn't wear the racquetball jacket or the glasses today because he knew we would have made fun of him.
You going out now?
I honestly, I swear to God, I might go have a couple of drinks with the wife.
Can I ask you to do me a favor before you go? Tell me what you're telling everybody, and then tell me what you kind of inside your brain, what you plan on doing. Because that's a fun exercise.
Okay, I haven't worked out yet, so I'm going to do that.
Mhm.
So that's why I haven't been drinking on the podcast, because I knew that if I cracked a beer, the whole doing yoga every day this year, well, that wasn't going to happen today. And I'm at day 76 today, so I got to do that. And then I am going to see if I can get my wife to drive me to the bar to drop me off to get shit faced. But it sounds better if I say I'm going to take her down and have a couple of drinks.
Yeah. I knew she wasn't going into the bar with you when you said my wife and I are going out for a couple of drinks. I knew because I did the same thing. I knew that she was your designated driver this evening, and that was the extent of it. She was just taking you to the pub to drop you off like an 18-year-old.
Hey, but
I knew it.
hold
And
on,
there's
no.
nothing wrong with it. Just
But
fucking
hold on.
tell me that's what you're
No,
going to do, because
listen,
that's what
I
I
know-
wanted to know. Are you,
I know
are you
you
going to go
know.
get cranked? You're going to get
I know
fucked up.
you, Dean. I know you know.
Yeah.
What my plan was, but did at least it sound legitimate?
Yeah, totally did. That's the
did
thing.
it?
That's why I asked
That's
you at the end of the
good,
show.
yeah.
I'm like, are you growing up too? No, thank you.
It was
Have a-
believe it. Did I sell it?
Yeah,
I
you
did.
really did. Yeah, you
I did, yeah,
fucking
thank
dude. I believed you today. I'm like, for a
I'm not
second, I
following
was-
that midget
we
around.
were
No,
halfway-
I've had enough of them today.
Oh, you're gonna go there. You're that's don't do. Who are you kidding? You're gonna end up with Jimmy somewhere. You're gonna end up with a midget leprechaun somewhere at about 11:30, and you're gonna have the spins, and you're
You
gonna
wanna
be eating
know
a
what-
donair, and you're gonna be like, Deb.
I'm just
I
gonna
think we're-
sleep at the station.
This is the phone call. Deb, I think we're at the LP. She'll be like, what's that? At the LP. I'm just gonna stay here. I love you, and that'll be it. Because that's what's gonna happen tonight. Are you taking a sleeping bag to the station? You might as well. I mean,
You know
old
what I
school.
was gonna do, and this I swear to God I was gonna do this. And I shouldn't say this out loud because maybe I will actually end up doing this eventually. We did this thing last year called the Leprechaun Wars.
Mhm.
Because I found out I'm actually Irish. I'm not going to tell the story. It's a long, drawn out fucking story, and no one needs that from Lachlan today. But I did find out that I was Irish, and I thought it was kind of funny to compete with Jimmy as a leprechaun. So I went and got a full leprechaun outfit, like a fucking, for a 6-foot guy. I had to rent it. I should have bought it, but we competed and we did like a limerick writing contest. We had to dance a jig. We did all these stupid things for a week leading up to St. Patrick's Day last year. I think the videos are up on our locker room page, locker room YouTube page. Anyway, I was gonna fucking just dress up in that outfit again, go rent it again from Carrie's Costumes, and
You
then
got
just
mad,
show
didn't you?
up at the bar.
You'd be
Just-
so
he'd
pissed,
be just fucking
furious. It's this
I
one
might
day.
end up doing it. It's his big day. He makes like,
Oh.
dude, he makes like a couple of grand.
I know he
The
does.
bars hire him, and they pay him a couple of $100, and they get him shit faced. And so
See,
he wants.
you couldn't do. But I know he loves it, and you should do it. You should get dressed up like a leprechaun and go steal all of his thunder, and then tell people that you'll do it for like $50 less than you'll do.
undercut him.
I would totally do the same thing. I'd be like, "What are you doing it for? 200?" I'm like, "I'll do it for 175." But you go out. Have a fun
I
time.
didn't want to roll on him because he didn't make any money the last couple of years, right? With St. Patrick's Day, and this is his big hiding money from the government weekend. So.
You know, it's funny. I think about it going on in Alberta. You can't do this east of it, Manitoba. There's no way you could have a midget. You can hire a midget to go into a bar to get drunk and be a midget, like be a leprechaun. There's the appropriation. Like it's almost like it in Manitoba. That's where that stuff stops. You could not get away with that here, which is why I'm so fucking fascinated by the fact that he gets hired for these parties and he goes and does them all the time, right?
Well, he got hired for at Christmas. He got hired for a gig and
As an elf.
Yeah. He's got an elf costume. He's got all the costumes. He's got them at home.
Sure.
Yeah. And tomorrow morning, because he will go all day. Like he's already out right now. I just got a text from him. He's at the East Coast Connection. It's a bar his buddy owns, so he's going to have a beer there. And then the brew house hired him, and they own like 10, 15 bars in the neighborhood, and they pick him up. They got a limo and a driver, and they drive him from bar to bar.
Mhm.
And he goes in and does his shtick. He's it's Paddy the Leprechaun, and he runs around the bar, and people take pictures, and he does shots with them, and then he's ending up at Kelly's, which is kind of an Irish pub in town. People know that at like 11 tonight.
That's where you'll be.
That's probably where I'll end up. And then in the morning, we're going to be doing field sobriety tests with him to see if how drunk he is.
Fuck, give one to yourself too. I want that answer today. You know how many radio shows I did where I'm like, I don't even know how I got to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, old school. Thanks for doing this, brother. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. Say hi to Jimmy for me.
That was fun.
Make sure you cover that shirt up with a little bit of tape. Drunk Lives Matter. Again, can't wear it east of Manitoba, but fucking love the shirt. And
that's
I'll talk
also Army Chris won't remember this, but that's also the 13th time he's offered to buy this shirt from me
because he loves it that much. Yeah. Anyway,
and
have a blast.
He'd
dude.
wear it. Yeah.
Have a blast. Talk to you soon.
He would wear it big time. All right, brother.
Talk to you soon. Lachlan Cross, ladies and gentlemen, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton is where you can find him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. He is off to the fucking St. Patrick's Day races. Have a great time tonight, everybody. Appreciate you joining us and being part of the show. Kind of a fun, light one today. We'll be back again tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not. Don't forget, you can see everything we do at DeanBlundell.com. Not only that, you can get our newsletter by signing up for it at DeanBlundell.com. That would be a lot of fun if you could do that. Thanks. And thanks to our friends and sponsors at Domination. Dominate your content with Domination.com. It's free software. Anybody can use it once. And it helps you produce promos, commercials, the whole 9 yards. It's a pretty incredible service, actually. And I know that you're going to fucking love it when you try them. We use them all the time to produce our promos, and you should do the same thing. Go to Domination.com. Try them for free today. Gamer, streamer, podcaster, and more. Super easy to use. Also, Ed's Fine Imports. Get his Gitch at edsfineimports.com. GITCH is your promo code. GITCH3, actually, and they'll send you a free pair. Clothing for men and boys. These underwear are incredible. You will love them. I wear them all the time. Boxer briefs, pouch in the front, the best. edsfineimports.com. Gitch3 is your promo code. And last but not least, our friends at Easy Auto Financial, helping you get into a car. We know you want a car. We know you need financing for cars, and they don't want to charge you for financing. They just want to put you in touch with the car that you want for the price that you want to pay, and you don't have to pay for financing. No obligation either. Go sign up today. Use them. They're good people, and they help people with good credit, bad credit, no credit get vehicles. Go to easyautofinancial.ca today. Thanks. Have a great day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. See you tomorrow. Bye.